Good morning. I think I'm coming back on Monday. I haven't heard from the specialist, but I can do more in there than I can here. However, I'm going to just batter through this morning, and hopefully you will pick up on this either in class or at home later. I'm going to make this very quick because really the main thing that you need to be doing today is to actually just get on with your posters. Um, I'm looking at the timeline of what we've got, and I think getting the posters done now is probably your best bet, and that means working hopefully over the weekend if you get the time, but you certainly got the double period just now. Um, and we will see where we are. I will be in on Monday morning for year one and two anyway, even if I'm not back officially. I will just come in to visit. All I can do. Um, the main thing I wanted to just go through this morning, I'm going to have to put my glasses on so I can see my cues here, are a couple of things about the brief, which you maybe need to address in your write-up of part one, your pre-production. So can I just fire over there? You notice I've been had time to actually have a look at this. So I think what we'll do is we will look at the first part of the brief. You need to make mention of the fact that the form is print. I've said this before, and that the medium, sorry, is print, and the form is poster. So you'll either be making a series, or you will actually, if you only do one very good poster, that is perfectly acceptable. I've been checking this up while I'm at it. I will just point to the fact that your deadline is nominally is tomorrow. I think that's not practical, but if you can get a draft done of your poster and at least some notes on the first part, then that will be fine. We will be able to catch this up. The only people that are actually on a real time premium are those being presented for National 5 because your deadline for completion is before the Easter holidays. I can't tell you exactly when it is when I'm sitting here, but I'll do that for you on Monday. For the higher, it will be after the Easter holidays. And remember, that's for the assignment, that's not just for the poster, but you get the poster done now. For those who are going on with the trailer, then I will speak to you on Monday. But my main priority is to see about getting your posters done. Couple of things you might want to mention and to remember: your poster should be suitable for use anywhere. That's a constraint. So, no gratuitous nudity, no people with the top of their head missing, no offensive language. Um, and one thing that I had noticed a couple of you were talking about how to conform to BBFC. No, it doesn't have to conform to BBFC, British Board of Film Classification. It's a poster. It is regulated by the ASA, the Advertising Standards Authority, and the CAP. The certificate would only apply if if it had been rated and you were wanting to use that as part of the selling of the film. So as we've mentioned in class, if it's a U certificate, then that's going to give you a bigger audience than if it's a 15 certificate, for example. Your budget is effectively zero, but this is all negotiable. If you want to chip money in, that's fine. And this is what we talk about when we're talking about negotiating the brief. So if you think about it, in the planning your post, you need to make decisions about the following. So this is negotiating the brief. The If you want to spend money on it, then so be it. If you can pull in resources from elsewhere, then do so. The things you've got access to in school, obviously you're aware of. The health and safety, don't go over the top on that, please. I'm almost regretting mentioning it, but I know that I have to. And the time is negotiable, so we're negotiating now that we had to extend it because of my illness. That brings up a thing. The bottom line for regards to the SQA is you're doing this for the SQA. We know that. They really don't care if you fall out with people. They are not interested in things which have nothing to do with actual media. so that anything sort of personal like, oh, I wish I'd had more time. No, you don't have more time. You've got the time that you have. You need to get on with it. They're not interested in the fact that your dog was sick and that took longer. My dog's just heard me saying that. She's just come walking into the room. Um, so don't waste any time with irrelevances. You've got more than enough to do with there. Um, Remember what we were saying yesterday about narrative, how you can use narrative, Todorov. Um, and I just wanted to bring in a couple of key points, key techniques here, which will be of use to you. You'll notice that I'm now moved up to the top of the screen. I'm up there, yep, there, there. Anyway, so hi, I'm smaller again. What I was just going to say here was there's a couple of things that you want to remember. I went online and had a quick research. You obviously need to create your own pictures and things like this, but I went and grabbed this, and it's just a generic photograph. It's not for anything that I'm aware of. I found it on a file sharing site. Called Design You Trust. And copyright, external constraint. You can't just grab photographs and use them without acknowledging where they come from or paying for them. So, this is why you're encouraged to create your own photographs. This photograph, you've got I would say very obviously a girl or a woman in the foreground at the front. You can tell that by the hairstyle. There are not too many guys that do wear sort of plaits. There's a sense that she's carrying some sort of camping equipment or something, claiming, don't know, and she's looking out into the distance in this striking, very striking landscape. Now, my immediate thought was that's a photograph, it's not a poster yet. There's a number of things that we need to put on, and you should know what these are. You've been doing your research, so you know these sorts of things. So, what I've done is I've just very, very quickly picked up on the technique of anchorage, and that in particular is the words we put on it. Now, what you notice here, I've deliberately picked a grungy, it's called a grungy style of font. It's sans serif. It looks beaten up, it looks messed up. I've left it in white, but in order to make it stand out, because it really didn't, I've added a drop shadow. And then I've also put a strap liner below it where Hope goes to die. Now, this is a play on words, is it? Is the girl named Hope? Is this about, that you're not going to come back or whatever it is? And then the last little detail I've just chucked on this one. Now, there's loads missing off this. This is just a very basic, rough one to show you the power of anchorage. I've added the Warner Brothers logo at the bottom. Now I'll come to that in a minute and why I've done Warner Brothers in a second. But if you consider the original, plain photograph, it's a pretty photograph, it's a stunning photograph. But suddenly with Last Frontier, we are talking about a film. We're talking about a poster for a film where Hope goes to die. You could have, stars' names, you could have all sorts of little bits and pieces there. I mentioned Warner Brothers. Here's what I'm going to say to you. Suppose you did it this way, and you will notice that suddenly it's got a very different reading. It's a nice, friendly yellow font. I have used a red drop shadow, really, but what I found that it didn't stand out as much, so I've actually given a bit more opacity. That means I've faded out slightly the photograph. It's still very clear what it is, but it just makes the letters pop that a little bit more. And we've got Disney at the bottom, and that the strap line, the classic family adventure. I have no idea if there is a classic family adventure called The Last Frontier, but if you see that as a poster, as an audience, you'll say, oh, it's the classic family. The word classic has connotations of something which you probably should know. Family means that it probably suggests, suitable for everybody. Adventure, gives you a wee sense of the genre. And also, it's almost like Hope, and I'm calling her Hope. The girl at the bottom is now actually looking at the title of The Last Frontier. The fact that it's Disney gives us information. So these are little details that you should or could be thinking about when it comes to your own posters. Now I'll just go back to that was from yesterday. There you go. Hi, from that one. Now the Other thing that I wanted to say to you was um, really, I just wanted to stress to you the importance of getting on with doing something about your poster. Um, there are plenty of examples. If you go onto Google and you do a wee search of Google for something called film poster analysis. Now, hang on, I've just lost my scene that I'm using there now. I think if that should have just gone blank for you. So if that has, I will just very quickly. Oh, I will. Uh, Hello, can you hear me now? I should be back. My apologies. Um, I went and got the wrong thing there. Um, that was my fault. I'm sorry, my apologies here. I'm just, there we go. That should be my lovely face turning up again now, is it? Um, Hello, my apologies for that. I'm not so clever as I am. I'm just shrinking me down here and popping me down to the bottom. Now, um, where was I? I was, that's where we are. That's where we are. I'll just pull this one out. Right, there we go. There are plenty of poster analysis out there. Um, the analysis of existing posters, your job, remember, is to create your own one and then effectively do this analysis. Or rather, the bits at the side where they've done the analysis, these are the decisions you're making when you're putting your poster together. For National 5, you are effectively explaining what you've put in the poster and why you've put it in the poster. For higher, you're effectively doing that, and then you're doing the extra level where you're at evaluating, you're saying how effective you think it actually has been what you have done. So there's a bit of a difference in the intent here. But either way, it should be a case of you spending your time over the next couple of days working on creating your poster. Um, and I think that really is about all I need to say to you. Um, get on with it. Ask questions in the comments, either in the blog or on Edmodo, and I will get back to you. Um, I'm just about to go up to the chemist. I've got some medicines to pick up, which is why I pre-recorded this one. Um, and I've also got to nip into my GP's at the same time as well. I will hopefully be back within, not very long at all, I hope. So any questions I shall do my best to answer. Um, just pop them up on Edmodo or on the blog. And one last thing, if you have sketches, whatever, take a photograph of them and fire them onto Edmodo. You can actually respond. I will create a little post where you can respond simply by replying, and you can attach files to that. That allows me to see what you're up to. In fact, you can do that already, I think, on the one on the brief, but I will create a dedicated assignment which will allow you to upload files, and I can just fire comments back on that. Please, please, please don't waste time. Please, please, please. I'm worrying because nobody's getting in touch with me other than very few people. But I'm here, and I'm desperate to help you. So with that, I shall sign off with my fancy new, literally 30-second. Well, no, that's a fib. About 2 minutes. Um, ID for my media program. Okay, get in touch. You know how, and I will hear from you very shortly. And last thing, posters for Monday, please? Thank you.